Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this video, and today we're going to discuss Joe Wicks and the Lean In 15 program, nutrition plan, whatever it is you want to call it. Now, if you've been living under a rock for the last couple of years, Joe Wicks is essentially the guy who really capitalized on the Instagram 15-second video format thing, and he would make recipes within those 15 seconds and became extremely popular. So then he started bringing out diet plans and started selling online transformation programs. And he's really done well for himself. And it's really awesome to see fitness industry professionals, like reach such an amazing height. And yet he is spreading, healthy eating and healthy lifestyle across the nation. And, if 1 million people buy his book, then that's going to have a brilliant knock-on effect for the nation. My only problem is that some of the things that he actually says are wrong and are not backed by research, or just completely wrong, or can be misinterpreted a little bit. He does often spread misinformation and information that's wrong, that's straight up wrong. So I just wanted to do this video to get into it, to discuss some of the things that he actually says. Now, with regards to what it's about, thank you to, I'll give credit to this guy here, Phil Simms Personal Training. Let's check out this article just for some notes. The Lean In 15, it's basically a low-carb diet, especially to begin with as well. We can see here, so it's a low-carb approach, which is a common method for personal trainers to use. Because what happens when you go low carb, you will lose a lot of weight very fast. Now, there's a few reasons this happens. Everyone thinks that you go low carb and you lose loads of weight, so carbs are evil. That's not true whatsoever. What it is that you lose water weight. Most people generally eat a lot of carbs anyway, so when they eat less carbs, automatically they're eating less calories, and then also less food weight in the stomach as well. So less food to actually digest and less fiber in your diet as well. So that's usually why you lose a lot of weight very fast when you go low carb, because there's a lot of variables that go into that weight loss. So people just automatically assume that it's a good thing. Oh, I've lost so much weight. But as he says here, it's not just as simple as like take your carbs out and you'll lose fat. There's a lot of variables that go into it. We never really want to completely remove your carbs. You want to always keep your carbohydrates in there. But, if I'm looking to get someone to lose weight as fast as possible for my 90-day plan, I'm going to get them on a low-carb diet or, a low-fat diet or both to make them lose weight even faster. I'm not saying that that's healthy, but that's essentially what he's doing. But then there's also things that kind of contradicts this, which we'll get into in a minute. So as this Phil personal trainer says, it's very hard to sustain. So approaches like this only work for short periods of time. That's why you hear of all these detoxes, these 3-day detoxes, which are like super extreme, and you can literally only sustain them for 3 days because you're not having any carbs, any fats, any protein. It's you pretty much just having like sugar in a drink. So you are getting carbs in there, but you're not getting a good variety of carbs to get your fiber in. But anyway, that's another video. So, it's very hard to sustain, but then it makes people go back to this approach. So people would always go back to the Joe Wicks approach because it's like, well, I lost, within those first 30 days, I lost 10 pounds. Okay, yeah, I've gained all the 10 pounds back, but I want to lose those 10 pounds again. So I'll just go back to that. And it creates this vicious circle of just gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight. So, you'll and always remember as well, you only ever see the success stories. So with someone like himself with such a big following, if 1,000 people apply for his 90-day program and then he puts up whatever 10 or 100 before and after pictures, what about the other 900 people? Did they not succeed? And often that's the case. A lot of people will jump on a program like that and not really succeed because it's so generic and so unspecific to each individual, and a lot of people can't sustain the low carb approaches. Now, with regards to some of the stuff that he's actually said, we have here, so posted on his page, Low calorie diets don't work, fat burners don't work, meal replacement dust diets don't work. Fuel your body to burn fat with real food and give it a chance to make progress. Brilliant. That statement is kind of good, but then also has undertones of like wrong stuff in there pretty much. So he says low calorie diets don't work. That's not true. Low calorie diets do work, and that's why you will take the low carb approach, because it lowers people's calories by default, and then therefore it brings the calories down. It's that simple. So low calorie diets do work. It's just that they're very hard to sustain, and that's why, you know, I myself or any of our trainers at Raise the Bar will never promote low calorie diets, you know, because it is unsustainable and it's about the long term. But to say that they don't work, it's too much of a broad statement. You're being too unspecific. Why don't they work, Joe? It would be better saying low calorie diets don't work because they are too difficult to sustain. That's so by having a little bit more calories, you can sustain your diet for a longer period of time, whatever. Fat burners don't work. Well, that can be argued, because fat burners are basically whatever, like 90% caffeine, and caffeine suppresses your appetite, so it makes you eat less by default. So to say fat burners don't work, once again, that is too much of a broad statement. It doesn't really tell us anything. Why don't they work? Why don't they work? Maybe because people use them as a crutch to go to, and basically put all the eggs in one basket and just go to the fat burners and try and just keep and rely and depend on the fat burners. But fat burners used in conjunction with good training, good nutrition, and used as an extra little tool maybe later on in your diet at certain points, can be a useful tool to some people. So, you know, you can't just push stupid, like, broad statements out there like this. Meal replacement dust diets don't work. Okay, yeah, they don't work. You know, we all know Juice Plus and Herbalife, they're a load of crap, really. So yeah, if he's going against meal replacement diets here, which, you know, I completely agree with him on. Fuel your body to burn fat with real food. Give it a chance to make progress. That's cool. Promoting real food, good stuff. Okay. Now, here's something interesting as well. So this is one of Joe Wicks' recipes. Joe Wicks cheesy chicken and chorizo and spinach recipe straight out of the Lean In 15 nutrition book. Calories, 1,120 calories. Okay, now when we look here, the protein is very high. But for the average general population, you don't need this much protein. I mean, like, you could probably have this much protein as your maximum amount for the day. We generally recommend between 80 and 100, sometimes 120 grams of protein for the men. Tops, like, very, like, at most. Carbohydrates, 7. Once again, extremely low carb, so you'll probably feel quite tired off this. Fat, 76 grams of fat. Now, what Joe probably argues is, oh yeah, but it's the good fats, you know, you're getting some good saturated fats from the cheese, you know, and the chicken, and you know, it looks like you got beans in there. You know, you got some beans which are full of healthy fats. Yes, it's good to have healthy fats in your diet, but when you're having 1,100 calories in one meal, that's not really going to help towards losing fat. If you're training every single day and you're training hard, an hour every single day, then yeah, it's going to be beneficial. But also, we've got to look at context as well. If this is within your calories and your macronutrients, then cool, that's okay. But, you know, people just see the recipe and go, oh, the recipe is so nice. But you've got to look at it in context. That's 1,100 calories, where here, a KFC recipe rice box is only 500 calories. That's like half. Okay, yeah, there's only 27 grams of protein, but 61 grams of carbs, but that's because of the rice, but then only 14 grams of fat. Per 1 gram of fat, there's 9 calories. So this is obviously going to be a better option for the fat loss. Okay, you could say, oh, well, health, you know, you're not getting as many nutrients in this meal. Well, yeah, of course, but unless you're having this every single day or every single meal, then you can't really summarize health just in like an isolated, like, you can't isolate health down to one meal, basically. If you have one bad meal, you can't say that's unhealthy, because health is a broad spectrum of things. It's everything. It's how many times you're training, how long you're training for, what foods are you eating, what's 80% of your diet coming from, how often do you drink alcohol, do you smoke? That's what health is, not, oh, this one meal, this one day, this random day. It doesn't work like that. So it just goes to show that, like, people would say, oh, KFC is fattening. Oh, but the Joe Wicks recipe isn't. But then when you actually break it down into calories, it's it's obvious. The KFC is actually better in terms of calorie wise if you're on a diet, whereas obviously this isn't. Now, if you cut down half, then yeah, it's gonna be better. So just gotta be aware of these things, which then obviously brings us on to his kind of tagline: eat more, exercise less, lose fat. Now, I know what he's getting at here. He's basically saying that when you're eating real food, it feels like you're eating more because you have more fiber, more protein, and then you're exercising less because you're only training 20 minutes a day or whatever it is, and then you lose fat. But that is technically not true. If you want to lose fat, you've got to burn more calories than you eat. That's it. You've got to burn more calories than you eat. Simple. And yeah, it's just calories in versus calories out. Eat more, exercise less, lose fat. It's not true. If you eat more and exercise less, and you take this statement literal and you do what this statement is actually saying, you will gain fat. You need to move more and eat less. By definition, you need to do that. So it's just statements like this that Joe Wicks says that you've got to be careful with. Also, when you take a look at his workouts as well, people say, oh, his workouts are brilliant, revolutionary, whatever. Actually, not really. They're just simple body weight circuits that you can do at home. Nothing really major. It's just getting you moving. It's getting your heart rate up a little bit. And then now, just to get scientific a little bit, some people will say about what's called the epoch effect, basically the elevation in your metabolism after your workout. That is actually not as great as what people think it is. So the elevation in your metabolism post-workout is only small. If you do 20 minutes of high-intensity training on the Joe Wicks plan, your metabolism's not actually going to be elevated that much, really, in comparison to, say, an hour of weight training with some high-intensity training thrown in there as well. So you got to look at things within context, and unfortunately for the general population who follow Joe Wicks, don't have the understanding and the knowledge to put this stuff in context. So that's just a little bit of a summary, guys, on how it works, on how Joe Wicks works, and just how you've got to be a little bit more aware and question everything. And if something is too good to be true, usually it is. Not really gets away from hard work, reducing your calories and training hard, and that's it. And doing something that's sustainable as well. So Joe Wicks promotes a low carb diet, but then his recipes are very high calorie as well. So that's why, you've just got to be careful. Hope this video helps, guys. Leave a comment below if you have any questions, or if you like videos like this, and we'll try and get some more out like this as well. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.